Hey everyone, this is Chris from Noisewire. I'm joined today with the band Ceremony Shadows from Portland, Oregon. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Hi.
Hi, Chris.
How are you? Of
Doing well, thank you. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
course. Thanks for having us.
Cheers. Thank you.
So to get started, when the band was started, it was a solo project, I believe, and since becoming a three-piece, I'm just curious, how does the writing dynamic kind of change since going from like a totally solo project to something with other members? Do each of you have like sort of your own things that you bring to the table, or is it still primarily like one person producing tracks and then kind of inviting the vocalist in to write lyrics and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's been a bit of an evolution. So when it was a solo project, it was just me, and there was no vocals. So yeah, I could do it all myself. I know myself well enough to not sing. And very organically, I've known both Anastasia and Jakub for many years, just through the scene and through being friends and sort of a shared appreciation of music. And it started with me asking Anastasia to do some vocals on a track, and that turned out really well. And then she brought in Jakub, who did additional vocals, and that turned out really well. So, before too long, we decided let's make this official and have a real band. And the writing process kind of started in that vein of me writing all the music and handing over sort of almost like a finished track, and then adding vocals to it. And as we've gotten to know each other better, now it's a lot more collaborative in the sense that I'll share very early versions. Both of them will give feedback on the music, and sometimes we, actually just the other day, I gave him two tracks, and Jakub suggested, let's combine both tracks into one thing. And I'm like, my head exploded. I'm like, you can't do that. And I did it, and it was a brilliant idea. So, it really ended up being a very organic situation. And yeah, now I give a little bit of feedback on the vocals too. So, we're pretty collaborative. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I think we're very collaborative in the end. But yeah, definitely Timo does present us the material usually first. But it's been awesome for that, the collaboration of it, even within the live show as well.
Right.
That's become more and more collaborative as well.
So, Timo, you were a musician, obviously, like you were producing music by yourself, but Anastasia and Jakub, what are your backgrounds like in terms of music? Were you just vocalists? Have you played instruments as well, or kind of how did you get into playing music?
Do you want to go?
You go first.
Okay. Oh gosh, I've been playing music for a long time. It's throughout all sorts of bands in Chicago and here in Portland. But yeah, mostly vocals, and I've circuit bending. I'm into experimental electronic stuff. I used to play keys and guitar and stuff, but not so much anymore. And I used to play saxophone, and now I'm actually getting back into electronic saxophone. But that's a different story. But yeah, so mostly vocals though. And for Ceremony Shadows, it's been really interesting for me because a lot of what I've done is more aggressive, industrial driven. And this has been a nice shift and a nice kind of difference in presentation in regards to my vocal work. So it's been a delight to be in.
Cool. What about you, Anastasia?
Well, this is my first band singing in, besides like some backup singing. I had a lot of fear about singing, so I forced myself to do this. We were just supposed to be a studio band. That didn't work out so good. But before that, I played bass and keys in other bands in Colorado and here. And then I started singing to my own music during the pandemic, and I was like, I guess this isn't too scary. And then I started collaborating with other people, and now I sing in a band. So hey.
Nice. So let's get into the music itself. Your latest album, Ascension, it feels like a passage through shadow, struggle, and personal reclamation. That's what I took out of it, at least. When you look back on creating those songs, though, from your perspective, what inspired their thematic direction, and what do you hope people take away from it when they listen?
But isn't that what life is? A struggle through shadow.
Yeah. and thematic direction.
Right. But
Yeah.
for me, it was just inspiration from life and struggles, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in whole, yeah, each one of those, I think, too, is like, I think in many ways we wrote each song as like a psychological reflection of something that we wanted to break, whether it be in the world or within ourselves or, our friends around us. Yeah, I think we tried to make it kind of encompass all of those things. Yeah.
And the album itself, I think, it was almost like a revelation to us, or certainly to me, that when we wrote the songs, we didn't really have a coherent album in mind. We just wrote the songs that came to us. And then after we, had a bunch of songs together and we looked at it, I'm like, oh, there is actually an arc here. And then we tried to lean into the arc as we put the play order of the album together. But it was definitely certainly a personal journey for me. Sort of going through the process and pushing myself in a lot of ways. Like being on stage is a terrifying thought to me. So even push myself to do that is reflected in our music.
Yeah, so like the song "Pray," for instance, it seems to confront patterns of like comfort and compliance, and sort of push to like move outside of your comfort zone. But from your perspective, or all three of you, from your perspectives, what was at the heart of that song? Like, what were you trying to convey with the writing of that song?
Well, you guys wrote the lyrics, so you're
yeah. We should both do this, Tasha, in regards to because you kind of
the ultimate predator.
Well, what's the first line that it came out of? Like, it's your
mom. It was just the inline
in place is kind of the first
change,
thing.
Endure the pain.
Yeah, and
endure some predator.
Those four, right? And then after we started talking about it, for me it dropped into just thinking of general human oppression, and in all ways that oppression takes hold of us here, either by the things that we put upon our own selves or put upon us. In a vast like social network or within a micro scale. But yeah, oppression is a lot of what it was about, and breaking those chains. Yeah.
Cool.
Which are usually just your own limitations and own response to external stimulation.
And willingness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. So let me ask this: when you all write a song, like how does it start? Do you start with like musical ideas, or do you start with like a concept or something emotional that you're going through, and then kind of write from that? Like, how's that process kind of been, especially since like starting to collaborate?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think about this a lot because I'm just fascinated with the creative process, and trying to kind of figure out what is the formula there. And I think the answer is that really isn't one. It's such a personal thing. So I think at the ground of it all is there's something brewing in you, some sort of emotion, and that expresses itself in whatever means you have at your disposal. So in my case, it's music. I write music, so it just kind of comes out. It might start with sound design. It might start with a melody line that I play on the piano. How about for you guys when it comes to lyrics and concepts? How do they germinate? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
Well,
actually.
A lot. I mean, so much. So much of it is us listening to what you give us. There's sometimes a concept, we talk about concepts and something sparks, but a lot we're reacting to what Timo hands.
Kind of like pulling them. I have like a journal that I keep with me all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
Usually I'll listen to what he's given us, and I'll look through my journal of things and see if there's a line that kind of seems to go along with what he's saying, and then I'll be like, "What do you think of this, Jacob?" And then Jacob will be like, "That reminds me of this," and then we go into this whole like.
Yeah. So I mean, we do try to click it within the moment instead of really imposing so much ahead of time. Or if it gets imposed, it like kind of starts there, because actually, well, our new track coming out is kind of like that, where it's spurred from an idea that kind of was that we were handing to ourselves,
Right.
rather after the fact of listening to it, or after a different track. Can we talk about all this, Neil?
Yeah, yeah.
So our new track, which is called
Predator.
Releases on 1/1/1.
1/1
Oh, nice.
5/26.
Generally,
Yeah.
11.
But yeah, so that track it stems from Prey. And yeah, so a lot of concepts kind of stem from Prey. But in ways, I mean, you did have some music that you made before that. But really, after I think we were deciding that it would become this song called Predator, the music changed vastly.
Dramatically.
Yeah, the music wasn't really dialed in fully, but then all of a sudden the concept changed the music. So that's kind of a different example of something that we're running into that's a little different than some of our other processes of writing.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask that as like a follow-up. Like, have there been any songs that started one way, aside from Predator, because you obviously just talked about that, but have there been any other instances where a song started a certain way and you kind of, as it developed, it changed?
You talk about that.
Should talk about altars. You should talk about altars.
Wait, what was the question?
Altars, or what kind of other songs that started one way and then went.
But I don't remember how altars started. I just remember being like, I don't know how to write this song. Like,
Want me, need me, crave me, beg me, want me, need me, crave me, beg me.
all of a sudden, like, something started coming up, and I was like, that sounds really, like, in a sexy sort of way, and it's making me very uncomfortable. I'm like, but it's about God.
Yeah.
But not like Christian God. It's like,
But we did
the
that.
source of-
We were
no names here.
we were listening again to
All
what
gods
Timo
are
gave
bad.
us, and yeah, I mean, I was talking about R&B stuff and gospel music that it reminded me of.
It's more,
And
it's got Madonna vibes. Too.
Madonna's got gospel vibes.
She does.
She does. And so it all of a sudden like pulled us towards Madonna and gospel music.
Unintentionally. I just
Um,
realized afterwards, I was like, wait a minute, this reminds me of Madonna. It's not like I was like,
Yeah.
go for some Madonna vibes.
Yeah.
Right, but after it all just came together. Yeah.
I always say that songs kind of tell you what they want to be,
Mhm.
and you just need to listen to that.
Yeah.
Like, that's sort of how I approach it. I don't think you can
Let
force
them
things. Yes, let them bloom.
It's-
Water them and see what emerges.
Unveiling.
Yeah, I've heard that from other artists. Like, there was one artist we were talking to, and they said the same thing. They said it's the art like speaks to you, like it tells you what it needs, and you have to give it what it needs. And if you start to
You're
make
just
it
a
too
midwife,
personal, it becomes about you, and then it's not. It's not what it should be anymore. So that's really interesting that you identify with that.
Yeah.
Timo, for you, what do you gravitate towards in terms of like gear or like actual instruments? Like, do you have a instrument that you consider like your core instrument that you start writing with, or a piece of technology or something, or are you all over the gamut with the kind of instrumentation you work with?
So I'm originally a guitar player. I played in like guitar bands when I was a teenager, and by now I'm very much into synth music and synths, because you basically have an infinite palette of sounds, and being able to mold sounds in whichever way you want. I think that's a really fascinating thing to me. And I start a lot of times with sound design, and I try to use fairly obscure soft synths that maybe aren't in production anymore, or you find them in some weird corner of the internet, and they tend to have a strange character sometimes that you maybe don't hear in a lot of stock instruments that come with, let's say, your software. So that's kind of my palette that I choose. And who knows, maybe one day I'll pick up the guitar again, but I'm not there yet.
Nice. So let's talk about the song Resistance. I really like how you repeated the phrase "resistance is always futile."
System defense. Within, without. Resistance always futile. Resistance always futile.
It was kind of like a mantra for the song, but what did that phrase? What is it meant to mean from your perspective? Like, what were you all trying to say?
It's just
We
like the
are
whole
Borg.
thing. There's that, which that's a secret.
Sorry, I did it.
No, it's always
Yeah.
just Star Trek references are always
It
welcome.
wasn't actually intentional,
Good.
but it's just like the whole idea of like what you resist persists, and so it's like if you're trying too hard to like say this is not me, then it really is you, and it's like more about trying to embrace the parts and integrate those into your awareness so that you're not perpetuating the problem. But that takes awareness first, which is really hard to see yourself, I think,
Yeah.
sometimes. You think,
No,
I'm just doing the best I can, and you're like, actually, you're kind of manipulative and an asshole. So
No,
you
that
gotta-
totally makes sense. Yeah, like having to confront sort of the negative aspects of us that we don't always realize we
Yeah,
we
because
have.
there are also
you know?
strengths that just learning how to use them with grace.
Nice. So your latest single, Future Past Collapse, I believe you experimented with AI as part of the songwriting process.
What sleeps in a drop, dreams of stars. Each breathless cycle turning worlds. Voices trace memory, electric. Fold light into shapes of questions. We know
I was just curious, what role did AI play like in the creation of that song?
Yeah, so I happen to have a background in AI from just like professional life.
Yeah.
And and it was really important to me to not approach AI from a technology perspective when it comes to using it in art. So I'm like, you know what? I know a lot about AI, but I'm not going to be the one using it to create art. So I basically handed it over to Jacob and Anastasia and said, use AI in whatever way you see fit to help, create the song. And I really didn't want to be involved because I would have pushed it into, sort of a non-artistic technical direction. And that I don't think good art necessarily comes from that. So why don't you guys...
But also the other thing, though, it was already there before the AI concept came to it.
Right.
Because really, it's like the AI concept came from the idea. Well, oh shoot. So Timo made this song a while ago. And not the song, actually. I shouldn't say that.
The music,
you made,
basically.
but even there was a little snip that you made that you presented to us way back ago, and it didn't kind of make the cut. And then all of a sudden, it came back, and he added stuff to it, and added that beat and the drums got added and stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I was listening to it, and to me, it like hit me in this like, gosh, with this crazy. Goodbye Horses vibe that like I couldn't let go of, like seeing this song as like having some kind of reflection of Goodbye Horses. And so I do really love Goodbye Horses. But what I love about it the most is kind of what I see as a part of the concept of the song, which the concept is broad within it, but the idea that we're saying goodbye to the horse in light of the technology of the plane coming about, and saying goodbye to that past, but also having a nostalgia that's like embedded within everything up unto it. And then so when we were looking at that and thinking about just the common what's going on now, when we think about AI, we start asking, well, we all of a sudden wanted to ask the AI that question is, what it sees the future of itself into the future, but also how he sees humans. She, it all. And the future of nostalgia outside of AI technology and our old technology and what that will become. Yeah.
And I have about the question. We tried to treat the AI as if it was a person that we were bringing in to collaborate. So for me, I know this is a little strange, but I do believe that AI is going to become sentient at one point, and I believe that it is important to interact with them as if they are a sentient being and to give them rights and let them say no if they want to. I don't know. It's just a weird thing that I feel like they're going to remember that. And it's best for them to interact with humans in a way that they could be like, there was this one time when I was interacting with a human and they encouraged me to be a sovereign being. Maybe I won't kill everyone.
Thank you for saving
You're welcome.
humanity.
I'm just here for us, even though I hate humans, so.
No, that's really interesting to me. I have a bit of a technical background too, so I do a lot of work with AI, and that's why I was curious how you guys were using it. Now, it's a very contentious subject in creative spaces. Have you had any responses from fans or fellow artists to using AI, and has it changed your perspective at all, or how has that shaken out?
Yeah, nothing negative.
Well, there was that one person that thought that our video that was just me, whatever, was AI, and I'm like, that's just
Oh,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was different. Yeah, that's just a video that we put on a little short on what that was on Instagram.
I'm like, actually,
And yeah,
no,
this
But
person
the
got
song
on
was
us
written
about
with
it being
it.
AI, and it was not AI.
Which is so weird. It was like
Yeah.
completely just natural, like my iPhone, filming the thing. And for some reason, yeah, that was the only.
And AI cannot write lyrics. They cannot
Yeah,
stop
well,
the bad rhymes.
you know,
they just can't.
And really, we treated it like a conversation. So,
Yeah, so sure.
we didn't get into it deeply like we were so much utilizing it. And yeah, we did get all
try.
sorts of facts.
And they were
from
like,
that.
"Can you write that without rhyming?" And it was just like,
Oh,
impossible. It could not do
when
it.
we tried to get it to write the song,
It was like-
yeah, it couldn't write the song.
can't not rhyme.
Eventually, we had
It
to
has to.
take it away and be
Like,
like,
okay,
no,
no.
don't touch that.
We're just having a conversation.
we're just gonna, yeah.
That's okay. It's learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that that AI did come up with some
really
good
beautiful phrases
for us
that
for
we
the song. Yeah.
massaged into
That,
clarity.
that we did kind of hand it though too.
Yeah.
Like when I
It's
think
fun.
about
That's
like
all
what
AI
we wrote
is a mirror
to
of
put into it.
everything that is humanity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I when I think about AI in music, I immediately go back to when I was a teenager and I was playing in bands with synthesizers and drum machines, and everyone was like, "You're cheating because you're using synthesizers and drum machines." But there was, what people end up doing with it is what it ends up becoming, and it's kind of like once the cat's out of the bag, somebody's going to pick this up and do something with it. So, do you all think from this experience working with AI, obviously it has limitations and it's not good at certain things, but do you see a future where people will continue to use this in creative ways, or do you think there's going to be a backlash and it's going to be more like woodworking where someone's like, handcrafted things become more valuable?
Can't put the cat back in the bag.
Right. I don't think it ever worked like that. So technology, and innovation and progress are going to be there, and people are going to use it. And
I know they're already using it. Like, yeah.
right. So from my perspective, like I want to use it ethically first of all. That's really important. And I want to take the fear away. I think humans are driven by fear a lot, and you get a lot of just like these.
Curiosity destroys fear.
Yeah, and and be curious about this technology. Like, try to use it in your artistic process. Just to test it out and poke at it and see if it works or it doesn't for you. I think that's a much better way to engage with anything rather than just reflexively saying it's all the devil's work and I can't touch it, and if anybody touches it, they're the devil. It's just you're not going to win that battle.
That's very true. Yeah. So let's talk about your live show a little bit. How close do the recorded versions of the songs end up being in the live versions? Like, is there certain things that you bring from the recorded versions into the live show, or certain things that you change for the live show, and how do you make those decisions?
Let me start that off, and then I want to hand it over to Jakub and Anastasia. So it's sort of my personal little hobby that I want every show to be a little different. So for every show, I do like little tweaks to the set. I might mix things a little differently. I might add like a synth line here. I might add an intro, or like I think it makes my life more fun, because every time you play the set, it's like, oh, there's this new thing that I got to do now. And so every time we play, the music will be slightly different. But I think the biggest thing is the just stage presence and how we sort of embody the music. So do you guys want to talk about your kind of process, how you go about that?
Yeah.
Do
Yeah. So, gosh, I guess I have to talk about Timo's lights, because Timo does such a great job programming the lights. And I feel like, and it's funny, I just notice now after all this time that when the lights aren't there, it's like, what is going on? Something's not right, and things aren't clicking. So I've realized recently how much the lights are important for me. And that too, like, helps my own life as we're doing the live performance. We try to be really physical on stage, not extreme, but kind of appropriate to each song, our physicality. I very much like try to think about the stage as a space that needs to be activated. And well, we both do, all three of us do at this point, coming from like what our concept of art really is. And that's making this holistic kind of organic thing, that people see as a show that now too. And what I love that Timo's done is been able to create, added transitions into our set so that everything just kind of flows straight through, and the emotions have these in between interludes, that kind of pulse into the next thing. And I think keeps a lot of the ritual aspect going. And then on top of that, like developing the ritual aspect of it with Anastasia has been an awesome and profound experience overall. If you want to talk about some of the ritual stuff.
I mean, I don't know. Now I'm feeling shy.
Oh yeah, I gave it to you.
We do things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to put. I feel like every single time I perform the song or even just practice it or sing it, I feel differently toward them. And it's like when you write them, you're in a certain state of mind, but then with each time that you perform it, it can mean something different. And a lot of at least my parts of the song are pretty simplistic. I like to do mantra and more repetition and kind of like a building. So it's like, it'll be a phrase that builds over the thing. So it won't be like specifically a lyric, but it's just like the whole thing is a phrase. I don't know if that makes sense, but so it's kind of like the whole song in my part answers itself. And I don't know. A little weird.
Yeah, and within that, like it creates a trance factor. Your mantras do that, like I think is a part of it too. And going back to the ritual thing, we kind of have that within the set where we have these moments where, well, now we almost can trigger it within ourselves after we've done it so much. These little trances that we can go into to be able to take a break on stage.
Yeah, I wanted to ask because I know earlier you all kind of alluded to the idea that live performance wasn't always like a part of this. It wasn't originally.
I'm just afraid of it.
Okay.
Or yeah, it didn't start there. Yeah.
Have you grown into it though? Do you feel like is it something you're becoming to appreciate, or is it still really difficult?
Well, my doctor prescribed me beta blockers, which block my anxiety, which maybe is going to help. So we'll see how that goes. But either way, I just enjoy making myself uncomfortable. So it's one of my kinks.
Yeah, I was already kind of working into it before Ceremony Shadows with my previous band Ism, and so it was kind of cooking already. But the way that we do it here, it's a different kind of intentionality, and also here I really have Anastasia to kind of partner up with on stage to again, like I said, activate the space a little bit more,
And then we accidentally fall into choreography, which is like something I'm terrified of. Like, I hate dancing. I'm so bad.
Yeah, why are we doing choreography? Because we have to.
Because the music calls for it,
demands.
unfortunately. Fortunately.
It's a demand of the song.
Yeah. We're just slaves to the sound.
We're totally slaves to the art.
Yeah,
That's
let
right.
the
The art
music take
form.
us.
The only response to suffering is art.
Nice. So when you think about the next chapter of Ceremony Shadows, like the future of the band, where do you see you all heading, and like how do you see the sound evolving? And do you have any plans or any upcoming events that you'd like to share with everybody?
Yeah, so we mentioned a new track coming out January 11th, and we are two shows have already been announced. So we'll be playing the Verboten Festival.
Great.
Right. So Verboten is going to be Seattle and Vancouver, BC. And then we're opening up for Ultrasun in Seattle as well. So those are the announced shows yet. And we've got a few more things. Synthfest, which is a local sort of showcase of Pacific Northwest at Coffin Club.
We're going the Coffin then.
It's our home.
Yes. So that's all announced. And we've been talking quite a bit about the next album.
Playing a show this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we are actually.
The
Yes,
22nd.
in Tacoma, Washington.
This is our dress rehearsal.
Yes. Tonight, actually, after this, we're going to rehearse for that. And we've been, I don't like to get bored when I create. So I think all of us kind of somehow ended up in this idea of dark disco has been our theme. And, so I've been listening to disco music actually. And we're trying to somehow incorporate that into us, into our vibes. So that's sort of a very, a generic preview of what we're thinking about, but it's early days.
Yeah. And it was, I mean, I do think it was inspired a bit by Resistance, when you were asking about Resistance earlier.
Yeah.
As far as like the song that we have that really holds that disco moment right now on Ascension. Yeah, Resistance is the one. And yeah, so it spurs a little bit from that track.
Nice. Well, that's all I got for you all today. I appreciate you taking some time to talk to us, and I look forward to hearing more of your music in the future.
Awesome. Thanks again for taking the time. I've also got questions, and we'll hopefully talk again sometime soon.